everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all well and welcome to the Citizen channel. Today we have a City Past feature, don't we? Have one of our little moments in time features, and this is like subtitled Horrible Histories, as I've started to do now. Obviously it doesn't always go to plan with Manchester City, does it? So there's some days better than others. So obviously if you've watched any of my vlogs, you know I sort of add the horrible history to it as well, in case it hasn't quite gone to plan for our wonderful team. Yeah, so today we're going to look back at the 13th of January. I think it was a Sunday. I think the game was on TV as far as I remember, some of the comments I've read. Sunday the 13th of January 1991. So depending when you're watching this, when I put this vlog out, it's 30 years ago to the day as this vlog is coming out almost. I think I released the vlog a day before or something like that, but obviously depending when you're watching it, it doesn't really matter, does it? We're looking back at Sunday the 13th of January 1991. Yeah, Everton versus Manchester City. Again, in brackets, if you hate Howard Kendall, clap your hands. That was the song of the day for the City fans who made the trip to Goodison Park today. So we're going to have a look at that today. It's let's face it, a trip down the East Lancs. It's always an interesting trip. Either back in the old days, obviously, from what I remember, obviously in the 70s, travelling to football games, you had to plan it, whether you went to Liverpool or Everton, you had to plan it as a military operation to get in either ground and watch your backs, support your team, then try to get home in one piece to sing and perhaps fight another day if you need to, unfortunately. But yeah, more recently, it's not been great at Anfield, has it? But at least it's been a bit more palatable at Goodison Park, and mainly a positive experience over the last few seasons. So at least we could pick up some points, which we couldn't do at the guys across Stanley Park, could we? Yeah, so join me as I look back at this trip to Goodison in 1991, where you still had to watch yourselves in 1991. I mean, if you were there, you'll know that. A game, well, you probably still have to watch yourself now. You have to be a little bit clever sometimes. A game with a little bit of extra edge, as I've said this time round, because of the Kendall connection. And please, a new little feature today, a little watch-along feature, which, say, for copyright reasons, I can't actually show on screen, but obviously if I give you the information and we can sort of watch along brief highlights of this game together. So that's just something a little bit interesting. Let me know what you think anyway. Please, if you're new to this channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications so all these vlogs are coming out. That'd be fantastic. And as you know, if you check my playlist, there's loads of City stuff on there. And I also do vlogs on films and TV. So if that's of any interest to you or anyone you know, that'd be much appreciated. And please push that subscriber button and tell your friends about it as well. I'm trying to build my subscriber base up, so that'd be absolutely fantastic. Comments, please. Comments, did you go to this game, etc, etc. Just let me know in the comments what your feelings are on this little vlog. And obviously if you did go to this game on Merseyside back in 1991, just let me know what they are. And please, if you haven't got time for a comment, at least give us a thumbs up. It's nice to get views, but it's nice to get thumbs up as well. Right, let's get back on with it. Yeah, what gave this battle an extra edge was that the then Everton manager, or once again Everton manager, Howard Kendall, only weeks before obviously had walked out on City, hadn't he? Please check my little Howard Kendall special on that. I did a vlog on that quite recently, so it should be there on the playlist. Yeah, so he walked out on top 6th place City. I think we were 5th at the time when he walked out on us. To return to bottom 4 placed Everton. There you go, the real love of his life apparently. And as within his arrival at City the previous year, he within weeks began to turn Everton round as they began to play. They had some good players, but they hadn't quite hit it off. They began to play some good football and slowly move up the table. Peter Reid, yeah, he took charge at City. We'd done okay, obviously in the time after Kendall had left. We dropped a couple of places. I think we dropped down to about 7th place from 5th, but we were doing okay. But it was a disenchanted mob. Let's face it, a disenchanted mob of City fans that made that trip down the East Lancs that day. And we all certainly made our feelings known towards our ex-manager. If you look at the press things, etc. I've got my little scrapbook here that I did. If you watch my vlogs, I did 5 seasons of scrapbook starting around 1990. So I've got all my information on here. And yeah, it was a bit of a disenchanted guys, and obviously the newspaper reports were commenting. So obviously the feelings pre-match and during the match, obviously the City fans are well up for giving Mr. Kendall some stick. But unfortunately it turned out to be a disappointing game for City and the followers there that day by the final whistle. So yeah, Barclays League Division 1 it was at the time. Pre-match, as I said, City was 7th. They were on 29 points. Everton had played a game more, but they were sat then in 12th. As I said, they'd been in the bottom 4 or 5 when Kendall had gone back there. But 24 points, so 5 points behind City, but with played a game more. The lineups that day, for Everton, you had Southwell, McDonald, Radcliffe, Watson, Hinchcliffe. We'll talk about him again in a bit. McCall, Ebrel, Sheedy, Nevin, Beagrit and Sharp. For City we had Colton, Brightwell, Poynton, Reed, Hendry, Redmond, White, Heath, Quinn, Megson and Ward. Yeah, so 5, I think there was 5 ex-Everton players in that team. Obviously, there's certainly one of those Everton players that ended up at City as well, wouldn't they? So, yeah, join me now. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit different. Please join me as I watched the brief highlights of the game. It was featured on the MCFC Videos YouTube channel. That's where it is at the moment. You want to seek that out. But I'll put a link on screen. I'll put a link above in the information. I'll put a link below in the description as well. So if you've got if you've got the ability to do so, which obviously I could, where you can actually open it up on a laptop and watch both, listen to me and watch both, that's fantastic. Unfortunately, if you can't do that, please just check the link later or check it now. Just pause this little vlog if you like and just check the link. So I'll have a little talk through it as we're talking through the highlights. It's only 3 minutes, about 58 seconds long. So if you get that up on screen now and pause it after the ads, just as where Mr. Reed and Mr. Kendall are in the tunnel, we can watch it from there. Obviously, I'm gonna turn my volume right down. I'm gonna obviously not sure. I can't embed the images because I'm not sure of copyright problems. I don't want to fall foul of YouTube or anyone else's copyright problems. But I said thanks to MCFC Videos for doing this. So I'll give you a countdown, and then if we both start at the same time, we'll have a quick look through this little brief highlights on. I think Granada Reports probably show these highlights. Look familiar anyway with what Granada Reports used to do. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to press play now. There we go. So there's Kendall and Reed, obviously still buddies in the tunnel there. And then it's going to show you the teams. Yeah, Mr. Hinchcliffe. We'll have a little talk about him in a minute. And obviously you can see I'm wearing the same top that you're going to see player manager, Mr. Reed in a moment. Of course, he's going to prowl around that pitch looking determined as ever. I mean, this was Mr. Reed. He used to be okay for about 70 minutes, and he used to tire a little bit in those days, didn't he? Everton fans were singing "There's Only One Hour Kendall," and but that wasn't quite what the City fans were singing. A little bit more on that in the newspaper reports later. Right, here's the game. Look at this, a great cross in. Typical Quinn, wasn't it? But Megson, look at Megson's. I mean, he hits the target, but Southwell did enough there. Megson was poorly actually. He was took off at half time. So that was unfortunate for City, but then about 3 or 4 minutes later, that guy, he's got to be miles offside there. I mean, this is it, absolutely nevering through. Miles, a great save by Creighton, but look who's there, Beagrit, in off the post. He does his Olga Corbett impression here, that we've seen quite a lot of, and we got to see it. And look at Mr. Hinchcliffe, he looks absolutely delighted, didn't he? I mean, there's none of this rubbish about not celebrating about scoring against your own club. So there you go, that was a good goal, if you like, but how far is it? Look at this replay. I mean, he must have been offside. I mean, both players, even the guy in the middle must have been offside. And Creighton made a really good save. It's so unfortunate. He had a great game that day. Look at the player form guide after he was sort of the man of match. And again here, Sharp could have been offside again. I mean, it's very debatable whether he was offside, but another fantastic save by Tony Creighton. And this next one, their second goal. I mean, look at this now. This would have gone anywhere, wouldn't it? He blasted it, and it ends his head, but it just falls nicely back to him to head back across. And you can't say anything about that. What a fantastic goal. I mean, Creighton had absolutely no chance, did he? As Sheedy put it in the net, and a fantastic goal. But you know, say that Hendry when he cut it out there, it could have gone anywhere. It could have gone out for a corner. It could have gone out for the opposite direction. He just fell back superbly, didn't it, for Beagley to head it back across. It was a good header across, but you know, look at that for a goal. Fantastic. All right, we get to see all the angles as well. A few empty seats at Goodison Park that day, I noticed. There we go. This is going to be another good save by Colin. But did you notice good header out by Steve Redmond there? And Colton's save. But it's the two players on the line. It's not something you do much now. Two players on the post. It's something that seems to have been lost over time, wasn't it? And City do get a chance here coming up in the middle. A great ball. I think that was Edmund. And then, hey, it just won't sit down for Heath. This is Heath going through. It wouldn't sit down. But, hey, Southall was a big unit, wasn't he? A good blocking from the Everton keeper. Second half, again, typical Quinn onto Clive Allen. This used to annoy me about Clive Allen. He used to miss sort of simple chances. You'll see in a minute what I mean by that. But he just couldn't do it. But watch this now. Watch this by Clive Allen. Absolutely fantastic, eh? But it's disallowed. Oh, there's a surprise. The linesman's got his flag up. Oh, let's see what the linesman got. Well, that was him for me. That was Allen. He used to do the simple things bad and the complicated things. And what was that? Did the linesman flag for the ball going out? That ball didn't cross the line. Absolute rubbish. Fantastic goal. Yeah, he used to do the hard things, but not the simple things, Clive Allen. And that well, obviously, I think we have to say the pitch that saved us from that Tony Cotie effort there. It seemed to be going in the goal, but the pitch saved us. And there it is. The match is all over. Yeah, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I thought I'd try that and just see. And if you've watched it with me, hope you enjoyed it. And please, if you're going to watch it separate, then fair enough. It's good. It's only 3 minutes 58 seconds. So, yeah, something a little bit different. Let me know in the comments if that's all right, if I do that more with these little moments in time. So, yeah, it was a disappointing visit, but I have to say, I think we're a bit unlucky, don't you? Watching that back. Don't forget, this is Granada TV. They're not going to show a biased towards City. So when things go wrong, those decisions are made. It's not as though they're just going to show it in City's favour, because obviously Everton are a North West team as well. So, you have to, from memory, obviously my memory is very dim of the actual game, the full game itself. But yeah, from them highlights, I think City were unlucky, weren't they? They had a few dodgy decisions. I mean, nothing changes, does it, with the referees and linesmen? I wish we had VAR in those days. Perhaps we would have got a few more points and won a few more things. Who knows? Yeah, the phone guide that day, just looking at the Manchester Evening News, Colton got 9, Brightwell 7, Poynton 6, Reed 7, Henry 7, Redmond 7, White 6, Heath 6, Quinn 6, Megson 6 and Ward 6, and we used both subs, so Allen got a 6 and Harper got a 6. Yeah, Clive Allen, as I said, he used to do the simple miss the simple things and do some fantastic things that you wouldn't expect, and he did really annoy me. And one thing I used to do, and I didn't realise in those days, I used to do Bernard's comments. I used to have my own little comments. I used to type out a thing, and this is what I wrote after this game. I wasn't a very happy bunny. Everton 2, Manchester City 0. An awful game to watch, with City putting in a very lacklustre performance. It didn't show that bad on there, did it? But obviously the full game was a little bit different. And getting what they deserved, nothing. This is me, I'm a grumpy young man here. I was obviously about 30-ish when I did this. Best performers, Niall Quinn was as hard-working as ever. Tony Colton putting in one of his best performances to date. Steve Redmond was strong, but the defence looked very square at the back. Worst performers, here we go. Gary Megson never had a kick, but then again, he was poorly once. It was a bit unfair there. Substituted at half-time. Got flu, ? Yeah, he didn't, if you notice after that shot he had in the first half, he was blowing a bit, so he didn't look 100%. So I think worst performers, I'll have to give him a little bit of leeway there. Other worst performers, Adrian Heath's only contributions were 2 over-the-top tackles, apart from having a shot block, but I forgot about that one. And David White had 2 of the feeblest attempts on goal I've ever seen. So there you go. If you remember that, we didn't see those on the highlights, did we? My predictions, this is interesting. This team is going nowhere. I should state in the first division, but a mid-table position looks on the cards. So there you go, Bernard's comments. That was quite funny. I didn't even realise I did those at the time. So I quite enjoyed those, reading back those. Yeah, the next day, newspaper headlines, you had Howard hates, obviously a lot about Kendall. Midas man Kendall laughs last at City's fans' abuse. Kendall wins the hate game. Kendall has last laugh over City's unforgiving fans. Acrobat Peter is perfect. Yeah, I mean, so just looking through, obviously, for the evening, for the Peter Gardner report, which I assume was for the evening news. The Midas man Kendall laughs last at City fans' abuse. I'll just read through what Mr. Gardner thought. You've got to hand it to Kendall. The manager with the Midas touch has done it again. He hauled Manchester City from the brink a year ago. Now he's accomplishing a similar salvage job with his first love, Everton. 5 straight wins were climaxed with yesterday's Goodison Park victory, which hoists them into 12th place in the table, just 2 behind Adrift of City. And the irony of the Blues' 4th defeat in 5 matches was that it came at the hands of a team serving up their best display since Kendall's return. City were always second best, as they again contributed to their own downfall with a catalogue of wasted chances. There was more than a hint of suspicion, definitely, over Everton's opening 15th-minute goal that left City chasing the game. Pat Neville was clearly offside as he received the ball on the right and to cut in before delivering an angled drive. Even then, Creighton, later to emerge as his side's outstanding performer on otherwise bleak afternoon, was unlucky not to hold the ball. It broke loose for Peter Beagers to score off the inside of a post, his first goal since the £750,000 move from Stoke 15 months ago, and he celebrated in a spectacular double somersault. Yet the Blues can have no argument with the second, a brilliant strike from Kevin Sheedy. 11 minutes later, that virtually put the game beyond City's reach. Even so, they had chances before and after these goals to have improved a disastrous away record. You know, we didn't have a great, never had a great away record even before that. And they started to put right in the last league game of 1990 at Nottingham Forest. Gary Megson substituted at half-time because he felt unwell. It was unfortunate to see Neville Southall save his near-post attempt just a minute before Everton's first goal. David White and Adrian Heath too could have restored City's fortunes in a game in which Everton played the more fluent and flowing football they are. So that must have been one of David White's dodgy efforts. On the other hand, City had to thank Creighton for a string of splendid saves that prevented an even more humiliating defeat. City's lack of genuine midfield pace was again exposed, with Peter Reid, once he had lost Megson from his side, struggling to contain the more mobile home side, for whom Stuart McCall, John Ebbrell were outstanding. The Blues also failed to stretch the home side in the manner Beagrit and Nevin did, and the inevitable outcome was a deserved defeat, with Kendall having the last laugh on the taunting Main Road fans who subjected him to a torrent of verbal abuse. So there you go, that's Mr. Gardner's reading of the game. That was the table there up on the screen now after this game, so that's obviously mirroring what Mr. Gardner said about the respective positions. Off the pitch, as I say, the fans had stated we'd sort of let our feelings be known, let's be honest about it. There was trouble with the police in the crowd, as well as they removed some offensive, what they saw as offensive banners. Journalist Ken Lawrence wrote about the Howard hate. He said, Howard Kendall yesterday sat through an astonishing hate campaign. What's astonishing about it? I mean, this is our club. He deserted after sort of ripping the heart out of it and getting all his players in, which we didn't mind, but we expected him to be there for a long time, not to swan off the first chance he got. Yeah, through an astonishing hate campaign, but he had the last laugh with a 2-0 win. Furious Manchester City fans bitter at Kendall's return to his first love, Everton, 68 days ago, spent the whole of their size match at Goodison hurling abuse at the man they call Judas. Several giant banners proclaim the City supporters' contempt for the Goodison manager. And goes on to say, one which read, "You have to be loyal, you Fucking Judas," was confiscated by police. Did you have that banner? Another read, "Even my cat hates Kendall." A bit more humour in that one. Yeah, that's perhaps what we like to see a bit more of. And throughout the TV showdown, the big City contingent continually yelled, "If you hate Howard Kendall, clap your hands." Absolutely. But goals from Beagrit and Kevin Sheedy meant that Kendall emerged triumphant after putting one over Peter Reid, the man who took over from him as player boss at City. Kendall said afterwards, this was Kendall's thought, it's nice to be loved, isn't it? A lot of things have been said, and I suppose that what happened today was only to be expected, but it was not nice to hear, especially when so much of it, the banners and all, was inaccurate. Well, that's your opinion, Mr. Kendall. I don't think any of the banners told lies, did they? I mean, how were they inaccurate? But hey, there you go. Yeah, so Kendall had the last laugh, let's face it, on us City fans. But it didn't all end up so well for him at Everton, did it? Someone once said he should never go back. Someone said, I can't quote who it was, but they said never go back. And again, Kendall's return didn't ultimately result in the success of his first spell there, that's for sure. As for us, well, Peter Reid, on reflection, he did okay, didn't he? He kept us up in that top 6, but let's be honest about it. A little trophy would have been nice, but then again, based on what we saw in that little highlights there with the officials and what we didn't get, for instance, perhaps that sort of played against us as well. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this moment in time. Stroke horrible history. It was quite horrible. It's a horrible time. It's not. I mean, I don't condone anything that the fans did, but I was all for it at the time, and quite rightly so. I mean, at the end of the day, we love our club in the way Kendall loved his club, didn't he? But obviously, as I say, he did do a lot to City to make us think that perhaps we could go somewhere with Kendall, and then, as I said, he just to up and leave. It wasn't really right. You can only understand the vitriol with which the City fans responded to that. I mean, were you there that day? Let me know in the comments. Did you have a banner? Did you have it banner taken down the police? Were you arrested? Was there any? Obviously, there was trouble in the stands with the police, etc. So yeah, I mean, let me know anyway if you have any comments on that. I mean, let's face it, the Merseyside police have never did us much favours, did they, in the old day, whether it was the 70s, 80s, 90s, even now they don't. And they've been a pretty mean bunch over the years, pretty incompetent most of the time as well. And as for the Scouse fans, well, I think they're a bit better now. Certainly Everton-wise, they're certainly a bit better now. But anyway, just leave your comments and let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Please check my links on screen. If you follow and friend me on Facebook and Twitter, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back on there. As I said, please check my playlist. And please, my little day job, I used to have a video shop in the 90s and 2000s, and I still have a website. So if you can check out moviegamenostalgia.com for old rare DVDs, movie posters from the 90s and 2000s, and board games on there as well. That'll be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you'll join me again for another Citizen Channel feature, either City Present or City Past, very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Please, whatever you're going to do... Oh, it's falling down. Whatever you're going to do... Oh, there you go. Woking versus Everton. There you go. That was... yeah, the Woking guy was in the ground to watch the game, but I'm not sure how that panned out. I'm not interested in Everton, am I? So there you go. Woking versus Everton. There's a big game. Anyway, thanks for watching. Whatever you're going to do with the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until we meet again, please stay safe, Blues. Do the same. Goodbye for now.